Today, I want to talk about maximizing your practice time. And I'm not talking about trying to make more time in the day to practice. And I'm actually also not talking about how to make your practice more efficient or more effective or what to practice. I want to talk about our own internal desire and our motivation to continue practicing once we've sat down. Now you might be thinking, oh man, now we're gonna go abstract and you're gonna have to start a journal and start getting in the right headspace. Isn't it possible to just buy something that will allow you to practice for longer? And I have to tell you, yes, actually. I think there are a couple of things that you can buy that will cause you to practice for longer. The first thing that I recommend anyone upgrade on their drum set is the throne. I did not realize this until I went from a crappy throne to a really nice throne. But the first thing I noticed, the first day I started using that throne, was not only how much more comfortable it was, but I realized how much longer I had practiced that day. I wasn't keeping track of time, but there was a huge increase in how much I practiced simply because I just wasn't getting uncomfortable sooner. So I think I bought a rock and sock throne, this guy actually, maybe 15 years ago now, and I've had it ever since. It was probably like 150 bucks. It probably seemed like a lot of money at the time, but it has absolutely been worth every penny, and I can guarantee that I have put in probably thousands more practice hours than I would have if I had had something that just wasn't comfortable and caused me to either have back pain or just want to get up sooner. Along the same lines, having proper ear protection will be absolutely make or break for wanting to practice more or less. And I'll go even further and say that maybe you've already got earplugs or headphones or something that you like, and if that's the case, great, you're good to go. But for some folks, you may want to upgrade to either higher quality earplugs, or you might want something like in-ear monitors. I'm not recommending that you just buy something for the sake of buying something, but if you find yourself consistently dissatisfied with how you're monitoring your drums, not how your drums sound, maybe you actually like how they sound, but whenever you put on headphones or earplugs, you just don't like what it does to the sound, you might look into either different earplugs or in-ear monitors or something like that. Going back to the sound of your kit, good sounding drums and a kit that you like the sound of will cause you to want to play longer. And I know this seems maybe a little bit counter to me just saying that, your kit is not what's important, it's you practicing that's more important. But with whatever gear you have, maybe if you spend a little bit of extra time before you practice to tune, or maybe you just take an entire day to tune your drums and then not play them that day, and then the next day sit down and be greeted with almost a brand new kit, you are going to be so much more inspired to play those drums if you just enjoy the sound every time you hit it. Some people try and keep this effect going by continuously buying new gear and always having a new snare or new cymbals, and I find that the inspiration you get from a new piece of gear tends to be fleeting, so I think you should maybe spend more time maximizing whatever gear you have. Now, some of the other things that you might consider aren't directly related to drumming or even playing drums or practicing drums, but it's just more your environment, and I think we all tend to underestimate what an effect the environment has on how much we want to stay in a space. So that could be as simple as just your space being the right temperature. Right now it's fairly warm in here, so I should probably turn on the AC. And in the winter, I make sure to come a little bit early and turn on the heater. Things like having proper lighting, having lighting that you really enjoy, having your space be organized. If you tend to be a fairly disorganized person, you might feel more comfortable if you spend some more time just organizing the space, and then that's out of the way, and then you can just focus on playing. And speaking of having things organized, keeping your mind organized too, and doing whatever you need to do to let go of any sort of mental baggage or anything that you might be thinking of while you're practicing. This is definitely, above my pay grade, but a lot of people talk about either writing down the things that you have to do that day and then, physically having it written down somewhere and then putting it outside the practice room so that, you can pick it up later and you don't have to focus on it. There are, of course, tons of ways to approach mindfulness right now, and I'm certainly not the one to tell you how to do it, but just thinking about how can I be more focused and more in the moment, and how can I avoid thinking about the next thing I'm supposed to do that day as soon as I sit down on the drums. So again, just to tie things together, I'm not really talking about how to actually get more time in the day to practice, and I'm not even talking about how to properly organize your practice. It's almost like all the other details in between that will subconsciously cause you to either want to get up sooner or want to stay on the kit for longer. And I know that for me, anything that I can do to subconsciously cause me to spend another just few minutes practicing on the kit is invaluable. So something to think about. Hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.